you, it is what we make of it. Thank you, Alison. It is what we make of it. And I do feel we're a bit of a family. And there's another class going at the same time on Tuesdays with John Stillwell, Lama John Stillwell. And there's all these amazing other opportunities. You can hold stuff here. But I think it's also important to recognize that it takes effort and money. So if you have money, give us the money. No. If you have money. No. So donate to, like, what would you pay to go to a class like this at NYU? Yeah? Or any other place that might not even give you the depth to which you get. And I think it's just healthy to try and support this place to make sure it's open for the next person that comes with the same hopes and dreams that we're here. So I do my best. I encourage you to do your best as well. To $1 a day, $2 a day, and if it's not money, it could be your time, it could be your energy, it could be something. There's something lovely that comes out of this place, and we make it together. But we also need the place, and the government charges us rent. No, so. How do I do the next 3 steps of the Lam Rim in 3 minutes? Here we go. A minute each. The first thing I'd like you to think about is, and I want to tie it back to the beginning of the meditation. You'll see the correlation when you read the text. But we're about to go into a section that says, how do you develop that urge to get the most out of this life? So they will tell us to meditate on certain things. Like there's all these practices to try and get that fixed. But the line in the text will say, will prompt you to say, think of how amazing it is to have this kind of life. So I want to just touch on that. I touched on it in the meditation. In the West, I didn't think about past lives as a thing. And it took me years before my mind did this flip. And now I cannot not think of past lives as a rational thing. Yeah? As a logical thing. Of where did your mind come from? Where did the experiences you have come from? Where is the essence of consciousness for you? Did it come out of the sperm of the dad? Did it come out of the ovum of the mum? Did it come out of some magical mix that baby Jesus put it there or something? Where did it come from? So it is proposed in Buddhism that you have these things called past lives, and I always thought I was Cleopatra. No. Not true. It's only because I really like Mark Antony. If only I could be Cleopatra. No. Don't picture that. Don't imagine the wig on me with a little Diamante on the side. So I want to take you to a little place before we develop the urge to get the most out of this life. Yeah. Think about the content of your mind, that stream that is your mind, that must have come from something before your first instant of awareness and consciousness in the womb. Before you had a sensation, a thing that was interpreted by your mind, what caused that? Where was that thing beforehand? Yeah? And if you can accept that there was one life before this one, which caused this one, you have to accept that there's another one, and another one, and another one. And then the stream of consciousness, infinity, then had a meaning for me for the first time. Yeah, but then it took some while. I'm not here to convince you of past lives. I'm here to get you to think about the idea of a continuum of mind. Mind produces mind. Moments of mind producing mind. And then if you think about that the experiences you're having in that consciousness while you're in this body, thinking you're this thing, are good and bad, positive and negative experiences. And then we're also acting in the world, causing future experiences by planting actions, which creates the content, the future content of that stream. So if you consider for a second a single day of your life, 24 hours of your day, and you wake up and you say, am I fortunate or am I not to have the kind of ripening that I have to have this kind of body in this kind of world with these kind of things? And all you have to do is look at as much as you know about the other 7 billion humans and other creatures who have bodies and minds, cows and dogs and insects and the rest, and say, compared to all those, am I fortunate or not? So we're using up the seeds of good fortune, burning up the positive, the deposits in our bank accounts that produce this kind of life. And at the same time, we're planting some seeds as we're having those experiences for future moments to come. I want you to think about the moments you plant to produce the future experience that will be this. Because what will happen to you when you die? What happens to a mind when the body decays? You thought you were the same being that you were when you were 10 that you are now. Our body's not this body. What happens to your mind when your body's 80 and 90, 100 and finished? And what kind of ripenings will occur depends on the kind of actions you take, the seeds you plant. So let's take 24 hours for a second and see if they are virtuous, positive seeds we're planting for future experiences, or not so virtuous. And I don't want to be prescriptive about it, but I would like you to think how many of those actions are to protect your body and to protect other people's bodies. If you looked at 24 hours worth of motivation and action in the world, and you were one of 7 billion beings, and when you saw that being get a headache, you went, oh, she's got a headache. Oh, look, there's Paris Hilton. Or you said, oh, I've got a headache. And someone says, oh, look, there's Paris Hilton. I'm like, I've got a headache. Which headache is more important to you? Which one are you going to put all your effort to fix? When you walk past the beggar on the street, if they were your mum, really, if you turn the corner and you saw your mother, would you treat them the same way? And so I want to highlight what we think are natural things for us to protect our current ripenings might not be very good seeds. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, by the way. The interesting thing about the law of karma is that it's cold. I mean, it's just a thing. It's not judgment. It's not anything like that. That was took me years to remove Catholic guilt and all the other things that I had around the idea of planting karmas. Just look at it as a balance. Black and white, positive deposits and withdrawals, deposits and withdrawals. If a pleasure is withdrawal of a positive experience, and a pain is a withdrawal of a negative planting, how many withdrawals are we having as the warm water from the shower in our clean bathrooms? To perceive a clean bathroom, the ability to turn on a warm shower. How many other beings have that in this world that you know? So look at this as a deposit withdrawal. How much deposit are we doing? And so what's the likelihood out of the 7 billion creatures that we know as humans and the countless other life forms that we know exist with feelings just like ours? Everybody runs away from pain. Everybody runs towards joy, happiness, food. They think, I'm going to get it in food. Yeah, so I want you to think about that. The Kadampas used to do this. What's that thing? They used to carry pockets with white and black, and they would just spend a day going, oh shit, there goes the black one. Oops. I felt bad about putting out a black one, so I put another one. You know? And it was like, oh, I'm taking the drink, I'm not sharing the drink. How many mouths are here? I want the drink. Oops, 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 oops. And then you'd see at the end of the day which mountain was higher. They actually used to do this. Anyway, 2 minutes, 2 more things. So to develop the urge to get the most out of this life, the Tibetans get us to think about the 8 ways we are not lacking opportunity. Welcome to the double negatives. Yeah. I'll go through them quickly and hopefully review them in detail. But the first one is not having wrong views. And this again was an issue for me. Wrong views. Who says what's right? Here it means, like what's the ultimate wrong view in Buddhist thinking? This is one of the 10 non-virtues. What's the ultimate and wrong view?
Self-existence.
Self-existence. Not believing in karma. Okay. All coming at you. Okay, let's take karma. Okay. And let's say what would not having wrong view mean? Yeah. You'd have correct view. So the ultimate one would be if you're a blissful and enlightened being that says, "Oh, here are my projections, and I'm now landing," and you're abiding in bliss and emptiness all the time. Yeah, I'm not that guy. So I have to go to the next one. What do I think about karma, for example? Well, in this case, it just means you think the stuff you're doing in the world isn't coming back to you as perceptually. Yeah? And we live in a world where we actually do think that what we do happens to us to some degree. Yeah, so you're fortunate enough to know that no one's killing anybody, right? We're not going around killing anybody. And so it's sort of a lesser lack of wrong view that we live in a world where it's illegal to kill people. You know? And we all do it out of some kind of blindness or to conformity. I don't think we do it out of a motivation to protect life, and I don't think that's why it's in law. I don't know. Yeah? So we have these. We don't have the lack of these. Yeah? Wrong views. We're not born as an animal. Yeah? So that's an opportunity that we have. And in our way of thinking, in the West, we think, animals are pretty, and Disney did a great job at making lovely, happy birds flutter into, butterflies. They're all scared shitless of dying, okay? Something's going to eat them. The fluttering of a bird really quickly, it's afraid to be eaten. Big fish get little fish. There is no joy. Not only that, they don't even have the capacity of mind to try and overt or prevent, to logically think through or perceive the consequences of their actions. Yeah, they are continuously driven by instinct. Karma's pushing them into actions.
What is his name again?
His name?
No, the negative
not
thing.
the double negative.
What's the name of this guy?
It's a Mayimba, I think they call it. Is that what you mean?
No, the name of these 8.
Oh, these are the 8 ways of lacking opportunity. They call it the 8 leishers, right? Is that what they translate sometimes? The 8 leishers?
Mm.
Yeah? And then you have the 10 fortunes or something. Leishers or opportunities. Yeah. So the first one's wrong views, not being born as an animal. And in Tibet, in Buddhism, you have this craving spirits. You're not born as a craving spirit. And so they say if there's 2 realms of existence within this realm that we can perceive quite reasonably, there's a human experience of this thing and then there's an animal experience of this thing, it's reasonable to assume that there could be 3 or 5 or infinite views of this thing. So then Buddha taught that there are 6 different ways, 6 core ways that beings get into the state of samsara, humans being one, animals being another, all perceiving the same world, the same samsaric world, the turning world. And we have a special view of it. That's what makes us human. In this same place, what makes an animal is that they have certain experiences that they can't go beyond that reach. That barrier is the difference between animal and human. And then there's a hungry ghost or spirits, or produced by stinginess, or I won't have time to go through them. And I'm not here to convince you of them, but it's quite interesting to think about. And then there's not being born as a hell being is another one. So you would meditate on, if there are all these other modes of existence, what would it be like if I had to have the life of an animal? I'm very fortunate. That's what it should get you to. I'm very fortunate. I've got this capacity to think through things, to feel through things. Yeah? I actually have some correct view about cause and effect in the world. We are 14. We weren't born in a place where there are no teachings. And so, in this view, it would say that, you know, when somebody's teaching about a specific kind of morality, it doesn't matter if they're a Buddhist or not, you would say that that's a place where the teachings are existing. So that's a fortune that we have. We're not born in an uncivilized world, and that's a specific thing about a place where there's a certain amount of monks and nuns that do a specific practice every 2 weeks, and they have their 8 types of vows. Yeah, I'll cover that next week. We weren't born handicapped, or even though there are beings with human bodies, but unable to make the correlation between cause and effect, for example, or make an effect into their mental continuum in a way that we seem to be able to do. So there are people that are handicapped from that capacity, that there's something stopping them from making the same conclusions and actions and progress. So there's a fortune about having the health of mind that you have. And we're also not born as a pleasure being. And a pleasure being, out of all those 6 realms that I talked about, would be, there's 2 types of pleasure beings. They're called gods or demigods in this realm. And if you know anything about a bodhisattva, a being who's practicing the idea of compassion for all sentient beings, being born in a pleasure realm would be like a hell to them. It would be like, I'm wasting my time here. Let's go help some people. Anyway, then you have the 10 fortunes, and let me just cover them quickly, which are sort of the reverse of that, so I don't have to go through them. You're born as a human. You're in a civilized land, so people aren't chopping each other up around your neighborhood. I mean, maybe in Bushwick, I know we are. There's hipsters moving in all the time. Right? We have our faculties intact. And this is interesting because we only have this for a short window of time. You think about your sight, you think about your eyes, you think about your capacity to cognize. And then just think of a person. I'm going to go see my godmother who's 96, and I can hear on the phone every time I talk to her, year after year, things slip. You know, the legs aren't working, so she can't walk 20 blocks now, she can walk 10 blocks from her house, and she's now to 5. You know, soon it'll be someone has to pick her up. We have a tiny window where we're healthy and able to take the essence that it is to have this gift, which is to be human. And what do we do with that? Which is the next part. So let me just finish the 10 fortunes. We're human, born in a civilized land. We have our faculties intact. We haven't committed any of the 5 hideous crimes. I won't cover them. We have some faith in teachings. We have some hope. Imagine this one. We have some hope that something can help you. We think that there's something that can help us. There are people out of the 7 billion who early on just think, oh, this is what life is. Okay, I'll go and work the entire rest of my life. I'll retire at 60. Oh my God, heart attack. See you later. Bye. That was a life. That was a human life. Yeah, no, there's no way out. There's nothing else but that. Why else would you want that? I remember asking my mum's boyfriend. She had just gotten with this guy after separating with my dad, and they lived together for 12 years. And I saw him just working his ass off. He was just a worker. You know, and I asked him, I said, what's the purpose of your life? You know, what do you think your life is for? And I don't know, I was being a smart ass. I read The Alchemist or something. You know? And he was 50 something. He said to me, he says, like we were at a barbecue talking, and he stopped dead in his track and goes, nobody's ever asked me, and I've never thought about that. I've never thought about that. He was paralyzed for weeks after it. No, seriously. 50 something, he's like, I've just been working. Welcome to the whirlpool. You can step in, or you could turn around. And if you step in with great care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Sorry. I'm a poet, and I didn't even realize that I was one. Sorry, I just got inspired. 2 more minutes and I'm finished. Oh dear. Number 5 is you believe that teachings can help you. You live in a world where a Buddha has come, where a being, and here doesn't mean the Buddha, I mean it does mean the Buddha here, but think about it in terms of you're in a place where beings have popped in. Think of Gandhi, I don't care, have said, I can transform a human existence. By example, you've seen and tasted them. These images are paintings of beings that have said, I was born as like you and me, and I can transcend that suffering. It's possible. And Jesus did it, and Muhammad did it, and all these beings did it. We're born in a land like that. We're born in a world where that kind of being taught, a Buddha taught. That's number 7. That's one of the 10 fortunes. We're fortunate because what those beings have taught has not yet been lost. So you still can get this stuff. Imagine a world where there is just iPhones. No. People have lost this drive for becoming. They're like, okay, I'll just click okay. And they say in the Abhidharma Kosha, they say that at a certain time, people's understanding of these things will die. Like, you won't be able to get a transmission or connect with a being that gets this from experience, has transformed themselves and can share it with you. But at some point, that will leave the planet. Because like anything, it's a produced thing. And then sometime after that, the actual books are gone. They'll get corrupted over time because no one knows what they mean. And we've already seen aspects of that are in Western thinking around Eastern philosophy that was never found in Eastern philosophy. We've made up, the idea of meditating on nothing is bull. Someone misunderstood the idea of emptiness. You're not supposed to think of nothing. Nothing produces nothing. Dirt. I'm going to plant no seeds of nothing, and I want a forest. Seeds of clarity, Anyway. Living in a world where the teachings are being practiced is number 9, and living in a world where there is support for practitioners. And what this means is you're able to go to work, earn some money, pay your rent, and have this practice. No one's chopping you up. No one's stoning you, unless you're in Bushwick. No one likes my Bushwick jokes.
We like the first one.
So then, lastly, the second part of this is how do you get the most out of it? Once you realize, hold on, I am so fortunate. Doesn't matter all the language you have in your head about I'm no good at this, I'm terrible at that. You are so fortunate. So fortunate. What are you going to do with it? I'll work until I'm 50. What are you going to do with it? And so the first thing, and there's 3, every Lamrim has a teaching for people of lesser capacity, medium capacity, and greater capacity. So let's start with a lesser capacity, and you'll see it in the text, is you'll meditate on death. Yeah? What do you do with it? You meditate on death, and you said, you practice what it's like to have the idea that you will die soon. So you might get up one day and go, well, I'm going to practice today, because you don't know when it's coming. Death is certain. You're going to die. We don't want to think about it. We want to talk about it. It sounds yucky, whatever, but it's true. You don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen tomorrow. It really can. There's no certainty about when it's going to happen, but it will happen. Yeah. So you meditate on death, and there's 3 parts to that. You must die. You have no idea when, and at death, nothing that you've accumulated, nothing external, even some things mental, cannot help you. Nothing can take you on from this to the next thing. The only thing that your mind, your stream of consciousness will be able to be is whatever you have deeply ingrained and habituated in this existence. That has much implication. Because you've been fortunate enough to be given all the fortunes that you experience right now and we take for granted. You produce that. You, the thing. You, that observer. You're the one we try to talk to in the meditation I was trying to connect to. It's produced by you. Great, great work. Congratulations! Don't screw it up. Because we just think it's normal to be human like this. It's not normal. Just compare you to 7 billion, compare you to all the other creatures who have minds and bodies. So, meditating on death is that you must die, no idea when, and at the end, all you have, like a shadow following you, is all the black and whites that you did, and the ones that are deeply ingrained. And so for that, you have to think about karma. We'll talk about it next week, the 4 principles of karma and how they work, and then we'll talk about if that's how to take the essence of this life as a lower capacity, what's the medium capacity and what's the greater capacity. Yeah? So we'll talk about that. Thank you for letting me go 15 minutes over. I want you to please, if you have any beings in your mind or any collection of beings in your mind that you wish upon them every single thing they wish for, throw this stuff at them instantly. The greater number of meaningful beings you can do that to, the more beautiful it is in your mind. So if we're going to do blah blah, yeah, here we go. Sawa, sashi.
Oh, sorry. Sashi.
Uki jishin metokram rira minshin indem padi sange shindu miteruargi Roku namda shinla juparsho Ilam guru ratna mandala kamyatayami Di gewoku Sunam yeshe soksok shin Sunam yeshe lejungwe Damba puni toparsho. And just imagine that being that we had left at the crown of our head entering your body, reducing in size and floating down to the level of your heart until they rest in a tiny cocoon there that you make for them. Every quality you imagined in them is now in your heart. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Keep it close. So we have 2 announcements.
Yes.
The Geshe Tashi Dorje was going, the Umse for Saramay Monastery was going to teach here on Saturday, day after tomorrow. That's cancelled. It is now the following Saturday, the 14th of April, so we can do better, right? And we have more people, etc. So please come. It's a rare opportunity. 5 o'clock at the Three Jewels. There's email going out. Anything else?
Diamond Mountain.
Diamond Mountain Teachings,
Yes.
5th of May weekend.
Yes.
Silent Retreat Teachings. Incredible practitioners, 38 of them in 3-year retreat, having learned the depth of these 5-year courses, plus another 5-year course, a 7-year course, are now trying to make these things come alive for them. They're doing deep practices, 3-year solitary retreats in a place in Arizona. They're allowed out of their houses every 6 months, and they stand behind a sheet, and 5 of them will share their experiences, and then we'll get teachings from them. You'll hear what it's like from a mind that's been in isolation for a year and a bit now. It'll be a year and a half. And they can tell you what it's like to actually practice what we're learning now. That's incredible. You want to say more about it?
Well, if you need any support getting out there, it is a little bit of a challenge to get out there. It's in the middle of the desert, really, like right in the middle of the desert. So if you need any help, any information, just email me and I'll help you get there.
Yeah. And thanks everybody. Just keep that thing tight and think about it for a week. Next week we'll finish with a bang. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.